We got a full show going for you guys, and not just today. The whole week is just full of special guests, and what a way to start off this week. It's a pleasure, and how can you do Babylon FM without making history 1 week, at least once a week?
Yeah.
So it is an honor to welcome the British ambassador to Iraq. I can't believe it, I'm saying this, Mr. Stephen. Welcome.
Good afternoon. It's amazing to be here. What a privilege. Thanks for having me.
Thank you so much. It's morning, actually.
Wink, wink. It's morning. Wink, wink.
It's a pleasure to have you here, Mr. Ambassador. How you doing?
I'm doing really well. I love your studio. I love the Halloween decorations. It makes me feel like I'm back in the United States.
Well, yeah, you're the first person to see our Halloween decorations. We were working on it early in the day, and I don't know. I think we still need a little more. It's still not spooky enough.
Maybe later on we can play some Halloween music so it can feel more Halloweeny. But yes, we did this decoration especially for you because this is the first time that we have the British ambassador here in our studios.
And he has brought a friend of ours now, because this is the second time we're having you. Let's see if they can guess. Can you just say one sentence? Let's see if people can remember you.
Hi, it's Tom. Nice to be back.
Don't say your name, Tom. That was supposed to be a game. All right, Tom, thank you so much for coming back. Thank you so much for coming back, Tom.
Great to be back. Thanks for having me on.
That's pretty cool. Twice in 2 weeks. You can come every week if you want.
I'll definitely come again.
Awesome. So you guys, it's a pleasure to have you guys here because, we want to be more connected with the UK. And what better way than just opening a channel and talking to each other. So, Stephen, first of all, you're in Erbil. You're usually in Baghdad. What the heck are you doing here? What's going on?
Well, so I love coming up to Erbil. I try and come up like once every couple of months. Erbil and the KRI, obviously it's really important for the UK. We've got a really strong historic relationship, and I'm up here to meet people, to meet your leaders.
Yes.
I met the Prime Minister Masroor Barzani. I saw Masood Barzani as well this morning, and I've got more meetings later on today. So yeah, it's kind of part of the bread and butter of being an ambassador that you come up and meet people and talk about politics and talk about how the UK can help Iraq and how the UK can help the KRI.
Well, listen, we love having friends. The more the better, right, Zoe?
Of course, especially, high
people in high-end
friends.
places. Yeah, exactly. No, but on the real, though, you're right. We have a long, deep history here, so it's important that we continue to check on each other, I guess, so to say. So I guess you don't stay in Baghdad always. You're always moving because, when we try to follow you on Twitter, it seems that, you're pretty Baghdad focused or Baghdad centered, but you do also travel a lot, it seems.
I do, yeah. I have a wife and kids, and until recently they were living in New York. So I'd be going between Baghdad and New York. They're now back in London, so I have to go back and see them from time to time. But yeah, it's been difficult. I've been ambassador to Iraq for a year now.
Yeah.
And it's been a tricky year, right? With demonstrations, with COVID, with the security situation. So it's been a bit hard to get out of Baghdad. But I'm hoping in my second year here that will ease up a bit.
Well, you have been famous in Iraq, particularly because you have a hobby.
We'll talk about that.
Yes, but let's get to know you first, and let's get to know how you got into that, whole hobby. Where are you from? Tell us about your early life in the UK and how you find yourself doing politics and all that.
Well, so I'm from just outside London in the UK, from a borough called Bromley. Which is known as being one of the most boring boroughs of London.
Why?
But that has a link to why I chose to be a diplomat. I think I grew up in this kind of dull suburb of London, and I would see like my friends' parents getting the same train to work every day their whole careers, and I just thought, when I grow up, I don't want to be like them. I want a different type of life. So I was determined to have a career where I could travel the world, get to learn about the world, learn new languages, meet new people. And then when I was at university, I had no idea, like most young people, what I wanted to do. So I literally applied for every job I could in my final year of university. But I was interested in business, I was interested in music and sport. But I applied for everything. And then, and it was a good displacement activity rather than doing exams. It's much more fun to apply for jobs. And then I ended up, to my huge surprise, being offered a job as a diplomat. And I'd never thought about being a diplomat. But then, people said to me, it's been great. You can travel the world, you can learn languages. It'll be far more interesting than being a banker. And I thought I'd give it a try. And that was when I was 21. And then, now nearly 20 years later, I've lived in 10 different countries around the world.
Wow.
I've learned Arabic, learned French a bit, worked in New York, in South Africa, Syria, Egypt, Libya, Brussels, Cyprus, Geneva. It's been amazing. So it's been a great career so far, but that's kind of how I stumbled into becoming a diplomat. But it wasn't what I wanted to do. I wanted to be a tennis player as a kid.
He does look like a tennis player.
I don't know, a tennis player with a few extra pounds maybe. But as a kid, all I wanted to do was play tennis. In fact, I'm still looking for someone in Iraq who can beat me at tennis. By the way, I haven't lost yet.
That's a challenge. Is that a challenge, Mr. Ambassador?
That is a real challenge, by the way. I would love to find someone that can beat me at tennis.
Well, we got a great tennis court at Peshmerga Park right here, so maybe we'll take you up for the challenge.
Yeah.
And if one of our listeners is listening to us right now who plays tennis,
yeah,
then you're up for a challenge.
Yeah, I can't quite believe I've just challenged the whole of Iraq to a tennis tournament. But anyway, I did want to be a tennis player. I failed at that. Then I wanted to be a singer, and I did okay at that. I had a
singer.
I had a singing scholarship to university, and I had a top 10 single in the UK pop charts.
Oh my God! How did I know about this? What?
Yeah, I'm exaggerating a bit. I sang on. I sang on a record that made it to number 10 in the UK charts. But it's a genuinely terrible song.
Well, we're gonna find. I didn't know. We didn't.
No, I know.
I guess you were not credited.
No one knows. It's top secret.
Did you go?
Well, hold on a second. You're gonna have to tell us what is the name of the song. We're gonna have to find it.
Did you go by the same name when you were a singer? Or?
No. I was in a close harmony group when I was at university, and there was a pop group, and they needed people to come down and sing on their record, and so we were hired to come down to a recording studio, and we sang. And the track is absolutely terrible.
We're gonna find it.
But I'm in the video for like 3 seconds at the beginning, and then it was the official song to the England football team.
Yeah.
Well, they were playing in Euro 2000, and it was the official song to accompany the England football team in Euro 2000.
Hey, that's kind of a big deal.
Of course.
No, really. I mean, England. It got to number 10, right, and then England got knocked out. And then it sank without a trace.
Well, it's not because of your luck. I mean, is that what you're saying?
The song was pretty bad.
Oh my.
Although
we're gonna try to find the song.
I really hope you don't.
So we know Tom has good people skills, and I'm guessing you too, because you said you loved all these things that you said, and how your upbringing influenced you to be who you are. But being a diplomat requires you to have good people skills. So did you develop those, or were you born with them? You seem to be like very easily, like we just met you and you're comfortable talking to us like this. Did you have to like train yourself to be like this? How'd you become like that?
I mean, look, I think you guys are DJs. You've got the best people skills of anyone, right? I mean, it's part, you put yourself through experiences where you learn to work with people. To be honest with you, my most useful thing I did for my people skills, when I was 16 years old, my mum came in and she said, unless you go and get a job, I'm not going to make you any more dinner.
Ooh.
And so at the age of 16, my mum forced me to go and get a job, and I had to go and work in a local department store. And being thrown into the real world like that when you're young, having to mix with people, that's probably the most useful thing. And that was the best training ground for being a diplomat. Actually working in a department store, having people come in and complain and make demands of you and deal with it, that was great training. But there's nothing formal, no. I mean, when you become a diplomat, you do a bit of training, but no one really teaches you how to relate to people. You get that from your life experience, right?
Yeah.
I mean, how did you train to become a DJ?
Yeah, I mean, you're definitely right. You just keep trying different things until you find something that you're more comfortable with.
Yeah, exactly.
And that's how we got to where we are today. If you guys just joining us, this is the British ambassador, Mr. Steve. How you pronounce your last name?
That's a good question. So Hickey.
Hickey.
Yeah, and it's mispronounced all over the world.
I was gonna say Hickey.
No, it's an Irish name. My father's from Ireland,
okay,
and so that's why it's a kind of unusual name.
Let's talk about the Middle East a little bit. You have a deep Middle East background, and you just said you speak Arabic. You've taught yourself Arabic. Spent time as a deputy ambassador in Cairo, in Damascus, pretty interesting places. There's this theme of Middle East for you keep coming back. You did mention other places you worked at, like Geneva and so on. But you seem to be fascinated with the Middle East. When did this fascination start and why?
I think, to be honest with you, my interest in the Middle East was sparked when I was in my early 20s. I paid a visit to Jerusalem.
Okay.
And toured the area, got to understand a bit about the Arab-Israeli conflict. And then I worked for our foreign minister for 3 years, traveling around the Middle East with him. That gave me, I got the chance to meet a load of Middle Eastern leaders, Egypt, Iraq, Israel, Syria. And then I figured that, if you're going to be a diplomat, and you want to be effective, you've A, got to learn the language, and B, you've got to spend time in the region. So I applied for a posting in Syria in 2010. I was the deputy ambassador. And when I got there, my predecessor said, you'll like it in Damascus, but you'll be really bored. And frankly, Damascus in 2010 was a very boring place. Nothing was happening at all. Mm-hmm. But then, of course, 2011, the Arab Spring came. And my ambassador said to me, look, I don't think anything's going to come of these protests, but why don't you go and meet the protesters and meet the opposition?
And you did that?
Yeah, I did. Yeah, I drove all around Syria, and I went to Raqqa, I went to Daraa, I went to Aleppo, Homs, got to know the Syrian opposition and got a feel for what was going on.
When it was peaceful before the war began.
Exactly. So those first few months, people forget that the initial protests in Syria were by like lawyers, doctors, students. It was really moving. But, we know what happened. It was really sad that those protests were met with huge violence. And then, unfortunately, the war became very violent. But so I was there. I witnessed that, which was helpful. I had to leave early due to threats made against me. I was evacuated. And then I got sent to Benghazi during that Libyan civil war and saw the same thing there. The same sort of protests.
Okay, Stephen, we're seeing a pattern here because you became an ambassador when also the protests began. Like you find yourself in these turbulent situations.
It's true.
Does that make you excited or does that make you worried? Does that discourage you from continuing your job?
No, I mean I think like most diplomats, it sounds naive and perhaps a bit hopeful, but you become a diplomat because you want to make a difference. You want to do something positive. Now, if you're a diplomat in Finland, let's say, you probably have a lovely life, and actually Helsinki is a wonderful city, but you can't really get much done. If you're a diplomat, you want to be where things are changing, where there's the risk of conflict, or where there is conflict, so you can help bring it to an end. So I found that in Syria and in Libya. Afterwards, I was in Cairo during the uprising against Mohammed Morsi, the Muslim Brotherhood president. Yeah. So in all of those places where change is happening, when you're a diplomat, that's where you can potentially have some impact. That's why I enjoyed being there. And to be honest with you, I see opportunities here in Iraq as well. Like with all the problems going on, there's scope for diplomats to help Iraq and try and make a difference.
So you've been in all these countries and you said that you learned Arabic.
Yes.
Give us a couple of sentences. Zoe, go ahead, test them.
خلنا نحكي شوية عربي.
أنا أتكلم عربي بس أنا درست عربي في سوريا من زمان فعندي لهجة شامية شوي والآن لازم أنا أتعلم اللهجة العراقية. بس والله في العراق اللغة العربية مختلفة جدا مقارنة بالقاهرة أو دمشق. بس أنا بحب اللغة العربية بس أسهل أكيد اللغة الإنجليزية فشكرا اليوم لأنه عندي الفرصة أن أتكلم في اللغة الإنجليزية.
Wow, that's pretty good.
That is impressive.
Yeah.
That is, mashallah. That is a real big mashallah.
No, I'm afraid no Kurdish yet, but I'd
well, you're going to have to spend some time here, it's in order for you to pick up the language here.
But I hear that the Kurdish language, there's different variants of it, right?
A lot.
So which one to learn?
You know what's the easiest thing to learn? It's easier than Arabic because you don't have to differentiate between a male and a female. So it's the same pronoun for a male and a female, like the English language. So in Arabic, it's different.
Yeah.
For a male, you're going to use different pronouns, and for a female as well. But in Kurdish, we don't have that.
Oh.
Yeah, exactly.
So it's easier to learn.
Yeah, and how about the script? Is that easy or is
it's
so
just like Arabic.
It's Arabic script.
Yeah.
Here it's Arabic script, so it's not that hard. There's a few extra words that they add, but it's just a modified version of the Arabic words, so it's not really hard at all. Okay. Yeah. So I think it's really possible for you if you continue to spend some time here, and anything is possible. Stephen, so you've been here for a little over a year. Tom has been here since January, you said, right, Tom?
Yes, right.
So how has the British team been doing during Corona? Tom has been telling us about some of the different ways that he has trying to keep himself busy during Corona when we had him here. So what do you guys do in terms of your work in order to keep it going during the lockdown?
It's tough, I mean, it's tough for everyone, I think, all around the world. I mean, we're doing a lot of our work remotely. We're social distancing, we're wearing masks, but I've been trying to get out. I mean, it's meant more time at home. So more time stuck in the embassy. I've been filling my time, as you know, with a bit of cooking, trying to learn about Iraqi foods.
Little bit.
And then in the embassy in Baghdad, the top activity for all diplomats is we play ultimate frisbee twice a week.
Ooh.
Which gets very competitive and actually quite violent. So yeah, my days outside of work, my days have been filled with sort of violent ultimate frisbee and and cooking dolma and keema.
Tom, do you go to Baghdad often to see Stephen and the team?
I've been down before. I'm hoping to get down more now that obviously the restrictions on COVID have been eased somewhat. So I'm hoping to get down very, very shortly again.
Have you been involved in this frisbee competition that he's been talking about?
No, I heard about it last time I was down, but I'm definitely going to get involved next time.
Well, what about you guys?
And tennis as well. Tennis, Stephen and I.
He's talking big game here. You know, he says I'm challenging the entire country. Well,
No, that was in a game of tennis.
Yeah.
Okay. So then what about you guys? Do you guys have any kind of these kind of competitions among each other here? Your team and Erbil?
No, we have frequent movie nights. That's quite fun. But a lot of sport, a lot of fitness. So try and get out to the park as much as we can. We absolutely love. Everyone in the Consulate loves the park.
Have you guys gotten a chance to go back yet since the restrictions have eased, or not yet?
To where, the park?
To the park, yeah.
Yeah, I was there just over a week ago.
And do you go jogging there, or you just walk?
All over it. Yeah, run all over.
Okay, so that's interesting because when we talk to a lot of diplomats here, we are seeing one correlation among all of them, and I'm guessing it's the same thing with Stephen as well. They all, part of their life, have jogging, and it seems like it's you need it for your stamina, I guess. So Stephen, do you get the chance to also run in Baghdad?
Yeah. So like before coming to Baghdad, I did the marathon.
You did?
Yeah. And I've entered for another marathon, so I'm trying to maintain fitness. I'm not doing a good job of that because of all the Iraqi food I'm eating. The extra weight is definitely slowing me down. The difficulty in Baghdad is it's kind of dusty, and you try and run there, and I start to cough. Although that may just be my lack of fitness, but and obviously the heat makes it difficult. But I think it's catching on, this running business, and a lot of diplomats are getting into it.
Not surprising. I mean, of course, the stronger you are, you physically, the better you will be able to perform. And I'm guessing it's very demanding, your job, Stephen. We didn't get the chance to get into details in terms of how your every day goes by, but I'm pretty sure you're busy from the morning you wake up until you sleep. Yes? No?
Yeah, you're busy, but maybe like you guys, you're doing something that's really interesting, right? And that you like doing. So it's not really tiring, and I personally am a person like you guys. I get energy from meeting other people. So it's a nice way to be spending your day, and much better than getting that same train to work every day from a suburb of London. So I love it. It's brilliant. It's a privilege, really.
You seem to really love your job, and you have these other hobbies like playing tennis, playing all these sports. That's why, you can keep a healthy balance between your job and between, sports and everything else.
And cooking. So let's talk about that.
Yes.
You seem to be like creating a big buzz on your off time, and it's like the Stephen cooking hour, where you really are showing us how to make some food and how to enjoy some of the food, and some of the stuff is pretty complicated. Sometimes it's really simple. I believe I saw you once show us how to make was it tea? I think one time I saw a video, something like that.
Yeah.
So how did this idea come about? Did you need to get clearance from your government to be doing this, or what's going on with that?
No, I mean, to be honest, I like cooking a lot. When my wife gave birth to our first son, part of the deal in division of labour between me and my wife was that I would do all the cooking.
Oh, was that recent?
No, it's 11 years ago, right?
Okay.
I became a dad 11 years ago, and she was like, right, you got to do all the cooking now. So I thought, right, I'm going to enjoy this. I'm going to learn how to do it. And so I learned how to cook. I like cooking, but I genuinely love Iraqi food. I've had really good food since I've been here. And so it seems an obvious thing, right, to learn how to do it. I don't know why I made a video out of it, to be honest with you. And I really don't know why anyone wanted to watch that video.
Well, you're getting a lot of views. We're talking about like 20,000. The one you posted 6 days ago got already 28,000 views. That is mind-boggling, bro.
Wow.
Yeah, and everybody in the country knows about it. I was telling my parents, I was like, today we're going to have a guest. The British ambassador is coming. They were like, oh, is he the guy that cooks and speaks Arabic? Everybody knows about your videos. And recently you were challenged by one of the most famous Iraqi chefs, Chef Shaheen. I believe he was on the Gordon Ramsay show, and you made keema.
Yeah.
Which is, I think, popular more in the middle and south of Iraq.
Yeah.
They make it for Husseiniya, I believe.
Yeah.
And we have a video, I think, Noor, of...
well, this is one of the episodes. Yeah, let's check this out.
This is the dolma one.
Here it is. Check the dolma one.
Yeah, we have the dolma.
You guys going to get us hungry early here. Okay, let's check this out. Let's see.
اليوم أنا راح أحاول أن أطبخ الدولمة. شكرا جزيلا لكل النصيحة والاقتراحات في تويتر وفي فيس. أولا البصل باذنجان غسلت الباذنجان كفاية فهذا سكين كبير جدا للأسف بجوز مو مناسب أنا أعتقد أن الباذنجان الأصعب من كل الخضروات.
Now, Nick, as you continue, can you tell us
مناسب؟
where did you
ما
learn
بعرف.
these steps before you did the dolma? How do you prepare for your cooking show?
No, I just like everyone else at home, right? I think I just googled like dolma recipe, literally on Google. I got like a couple of recipes and printed them off and just followed it. So yeah, I mean, I should have done a lot more preparation. And to be honest with you, I've got to be honest. My dolma, they weren't very good.
Really? Well, hold on a
They
second.
weren't very good. They look okay in the video, but then you can't taste it, right? So the dolma, they looked okay. They weren't great. The keema was more successful. The keema, because I followed the recipe from Chef Shaheen.
Yeah.
And he's also made these amazing videos, right, on Facebook. So I watched both. He's got 2 videos for how to cook keema on Facebook. I watched both of those, and that I did a better job of. And I used more spices. Because I'm learning that, for example, keema, it's not as easy as it looks, and like, Iraqis use lots of tricks to make the dolma taste really good. So I'm gonna keep trying with dolma, but so far it's not great.
That is like the championship here. It's dolma.
Yeah.
Tom, did you get a chance to try any of this food that he has made and posted on?
No, I haven't. But hopefully, in the very near future, there'll be a new video going up on Stephen's Twitter.
Okay.
Big hint there.
He should do a special one here in Erbil while he's been here. You know, if he can do one of the foods that we have here. We have a whole different kind of, of course, Iraqi food is very, similar to each other from north to south.
Yeah.
But we do have some special food that is specifically to the area. So.
Yeah, like what would you recommend?
I mean, just right off the bat,
Shifta.
Shifta is really special, and especially for here. It's basically mini kebabs.
Yeah.
They call them mini kebabs, but they're not kebabs. It's more than that. So.
Okay.
There's the different things. My thing is, if you get the chance,
Yeah.
I love tomato.
Yeah.
Okay, I love
Yeah.
tomato pastes, tomato soup. So if you get the chance to make tashrib, go and do it. And Tom, make sure you are there when he's doing it.
Is it like a type of tomato soup?
So it's a tomato soup, but us Iraqis, there's not a meal that doesn't have meat in it. So you put one big meat in there. You put the bread in there. Okay, cut in pieces of bread, and you put some
Lots of oil.
Lots of oil, of course. That's optional. You got to put one big onion in there as well.
No, the meat has to be oily. You have to have a lot of fat with the meat.
Yeah. I mean, you know what? We're just gonna show
Yeah.
it to you.
Yeah.
Okay, I'd like shifa. You say no? That's the first one.
No, yeah, that was
Tashrib.
shifted. This is tashrib.
Tashrib.
Yeah.
Okay. Great. I'll give it a go.
So hungry already.
Okay.
Tom, what would you say is your favorite Iraqi dish so far? I'm sure you've tried a few months since you've been here for a while. What would you say was number one? Is it kebab or something else?
Oh, kebab's always good. Dolma. Yeah, those are pretty much it. I mean, hummus. I mean, that's Middle Eastern in general, but
Yeah.
love a good hummus.
Well, let's talk about dolma just a little bit quicker, and we'll move on from dolma. How do you like your dolma? Sour or spicy?
Spicy.
Steven?
I like it. When people use like the pomegranate juice, and that makes it super tasty.
It makes it kind of sour.
Yeah, I've got to be honest. The best dolma I've had actually was at President Barham Saleh's
Ooh.
house. Yeah, I know it sounds fancy, doesn't it? But he served amazing dolma, and that's where I first had it in Iraq.
So
That
maybe
gave me the idea.
that's the Slimani version, because Barham Saleh is from Slimani.
Yeah.
So yeah, we gotta give that a try too.
We'll check it out. Islamic versions are always pretty good when they
Yeah.
have their own version of food. So for sure. Steven, what would you say is your favorite part of living in Baghdad?
I don't know. I gotta be honest. It sounds cheesy, but I like the people. The people are super nice and friendly to me as a British ambassador, and there's a genuine warmth. I think towards outsiders. So that I love that, and that kind of gives me energy, and probably the weather. I mean, you guys don't.
So
know
you
how
like
it's
hot weather?
I do, yeah. I mean, Tom and I coming from the UK, where the UK is obviously a wonderful place, but 6 months of the year the sky can be grey, and you don't get that in Baghdad and in Erbil. So I think you guys are lucky with your weather. It's amazing.
Real quick with football, of course, we can't go on without football.
Yeah.
So the team, I believe, Tom said a team that I never heard of. I think because he comes from an area, I guess they have a special team. What was the name of the team that you rooted for?
Manchester United.
Oh, I'm sorry. No, I confused you for another British person. Sorry. So you're a Man U. Okay, who told me they liked some team in the UK I never heard of. Like, I'm like, what? Do they exist? Like, yeah, they're in the second division, bro. I'm like, okay, sorry. So, Stephen, are you a football supporter? And if so, which team?
Yeah, I'm a massive football supporter. I support Liverpool. How can you say ooh?
No, because I'm seeing you sitting next to a Man U right here.
I don't think Tom Mine's like Man U not really in the same league as Liverpool anymore.
Oh,
so.
Oh my God!
No, but I was looking through your social media, and you know how big it is between Real Madrid and Barcelona here, and you wrote that you were a Barcelona supporter.
Yeah, yeah, like in Spain. But if it's Barcelona against Liverpool every time.
Oh.
Definitely. And in fact, one of my favourite matches ever was Liverpool's comeback against Barcelona in the Champions League a couple of years ago. They were 3-0 down and they scored 4 goals in the second leg, and it was amazing. Best match I've seen.
Do you still get the chance to watch football while you guys are here?
I personally,
because it has resumed.
I watch more football in Iraq than I've ever watched in my life before, because for some reason on my TV set, pretty much every Premier League match is shown. So yeah, I spend far too much of my time watching Premier League matches. So
you guys, of course, are flying high, explaining the confidence, Liverpool that is. So what was it, the first champions, the first EPL championship in how many years?
It was the first in over, it was over 30 years.
30 years!
Yeah.
So how do you feel is the state of Liverpool at the moment? Like, are you guys good for a good amount of years?
Liverpool, in an amazing state, I think. We've got a fantastic manager, great players. Our front three, best in the world, I think. Virgil van Dijk, probably best defender in the world. So no, I'm pretty optimistic. There's been a couple of bumps recently. There's a scoreline that I won't mention against Aston Villa, but other than that, no, I'm feeling good. It's a good time to be a Liverpool fan, and it's been a long time coming.
Well, Manchester United, they've been celebrating for too long. You guys need to chill. So let's give a try. Let's give a chance for other teams to celebrate. So
the 90s were our era.
They were indeed. Well, you guys were not too bad. Also in the 2000s, I remember a couple of times you've won back-to-back years. Was it 3 times even?
When Eric Cantona left, it was all over.
Yeah,
that was the best time.
You haven't told us who do you support?
Well, to be honest with you, I grew up in America, and us over there, we're brainwashed thinking that football is something else.
Yeah.
So of course,
it's called soccer.
Yeah, we think it's soccer. So I didn't get a chance to learn and like football until I moved back here in Erbil in 2008. So over the 12 years that I've been here, I got baptized as a Madrid fan by my cousins. I didn't have a choice.
No.
They said, "Listen, that's it. If you want to have friends here in this city," because I was new, you're gonna have to be a Madrid supporter. So I became a Madrid supporter. Over the EPL, though, I don't really have any strong feelings of support for any of the teams, but I like all UK teams. When it comes to any British team, English team that plays against the Italian side or the French side during the Champions League, I support for you guys. So is that enough?
That's not bad. It's a good answer. How about yourself, Zoe? You haven't told us.
I don't really watch a lot of football, but I don't know. I guess you gotta pick. The Spanish league is very popular here, so
why is that? Why?
I don't. There are fights every time. There's what is it called when Barcelona and Real Madrid plays?
El Clásico.
El Clásico. Yeah, there are fights. Literal
fights here in our city.
People hit each other.
Chairs thrown at each other. Yeah.
In Erbil.
Yeah, we'll show you videos later.
Yeah. So you either gotta be Barcelona or Real Madrid, or otherwise, there is no middle ground between these two. So I think I'm a Barcelona supporter.
But that's a great question. You would think EPL would be the dominant force, but here it's all about the Spanish league, La Liga.
Okay.
Well, Stephen, you seem to be a people's person from what you've been telling us, and you said that you've been to Erbil quite a few times since you were in Baghdad. What are your favorite things to do when you're in Erbil besides, being with diplomats?
Yeah, I'd like to get out more. Last time I was up here, is it Mr. Erbil? Mr. Erbil did a fantastic job, and in fact, I was thinking of going back and actually getting a suit from there because they look pretty cool. Other than that, I've got to be honest. My time when I'm up here is often spent meeting your political leaders, all of whom are very hospitable and serve amazing food. So I went over to Sulaymaniyah, the mountains near Sulaymaniyah recently, and did a little bit of hiking. That's beautiful. I'd like to do more of that. I think the nature that you guys have up here is incredible. So hopefully I get to explore that a bit more in future.
We would love for you to check it out, because the more pictures you post and you tag us in your Twitter, that means more tourism potential for us, and that's what we're looking for. So.
Yeah, it could happen. I think there's huge potential in tourism here, right? It just needs to. I just think a bit if more people knew about what was on offer here, and also people realise that the security situation up here in the KRI is actually really pretty good. I think it's going to come.
If you guys are just joining us, this is the British ambassador to Iraq. I can't believe I'm saying these words. Mr. Stephen Hickey right here. Joining us also Tom from the British Consulate of Erbil right here. And it's been a pleasure having this wonderful chat with you guys. Just a little bit touch bases on Britain and the British government's relationship with Iraq. You've talked about how it's really important and the history goes way back. So, you're not going to leave us anytime soon, right? Because we're hearing some countries talking about leaving, so you're not going to leave us, right?
No, we're not going to leave. We've been here a long time, and we're definitely not going to leave. And look, we've got this partnership with Iraq, right? And we realise that partnerships take time to grow and develop. So we're here for the long term, and we feel we have a responsibility to help Iraq succeed. And there's so much potential in this country, and in particular in the KRI. So no, we're here for the long term. We're not going anywhere.
The contribution and partnership is massive. We talked about the Chevening Scholarship last time, Tom, when you were here, which, by the way, it's still open. Applications are still in early November, I want to say.
Yeah, 3rd of November.
Yes, and besides that, I mean, we see the activities of UK Aid every now and then that's being posted. Do you get overwhelmed in terms of the amount of work that you have to oversight? I mean, you have a great team, obviously, like a guy with Tom and the rest of them. But is it manageable for you, where everything's under control, or how's it going?
Yeah, you said it, right? The British Embassy does a lot of work in Iraq and through the consulate, but I'm really lucky to have an amazing team. And one of the things you realise when you're ambassadors, you can't do everything. You have to trust people below you to do their jobs really well. And I'm lucky to work with a lot of really great people like Tom, who get on and do stuff. But also, I should say, actually, around half of the staff working at the British Embassy are Iraqis, and they know this country well. They give us fantastic advice. And they're often the ones that are delivering a lot of these programs and projects.
We got a whole bunch of young people listening to us right now. A lot of them who would dream about one day walking around by Big Ben and just visiting the UK and all different parts of places. And hopefully that one day travel will become easier. But what do you have to say to the young people listening right now? What's your message, considering what kind of state of mind they are at the moment? It's a little bit different from Baghdad here. We got young people here, unfortunately, who've graduated and can't find any job. We have young people over here who are struggling to move up career-wise, even if they do have a job. You have young people who would love to travel around the world and check it out, but as you heard, Iraq currently has the worst passport in the world. So what do you say to young people listening right now?
So look, I mean, first of all, I get it. It's tough. Like, it's a difficult moment in the world for young people, not just here in the KRI, but also in the UK. And so we have to acknowledge that. Like, I'd say a couple of things. I'd say, look, if your goal is to study and work overseas, focus on your English language. The British Council does a lot of work in this area. Learning English is difficult, but I'd say that's one suggestion. Really focus on that. A second thought though is that I think the future of Iraq when it comes to the economy is in the private sector. The government sector and the oil and gas sector can only provide so many jobs, right? And actually, no state wants its public sector to become that big and that bloated. It's too much of a burden on the taxpayer. So I would say look to develop skills in the private sector, whether it's in tech or engineering or healthcare. That I think is the future for Iraq. So if I was a young person, I wish I was a young person. If I was a young person right now and I wasn't a diplomat, that's what I'd be investing in, my English language skills and skills that can help you develop a career in the private sector, because the government can only provide so many jobs to people.
And the situation in Baghdad is a little different. We don't have that many people listening to us. As you know, it's only been a few days. But what would you say to people from Baghdad? We have a few even listening to it here, thinking about going back to Baghdad. So Iraqis in general and the rest of Iraq dealing with different problems. What would you say to them? Same thing, or what do you think?
I think, look, there's a different set of problems in Baghdad, as you say, not just on the economy, but on the security side as well. I think, look, it's going to take time to build a strong state in Iraq. Like, if you want stability, right? Security brings you prosperity, but you've got to have that stability first. It's going to take time to build up a strong state. And the international community wants to help Iraq do that, but it's going to take time. So I'd say be patient. But I think the same advice applies when it comes to the private sector. On the English language and education, I do want to give a plug again for our Achieving Scholarships. Thanks for mentioning it earlier. We are desperate to have more Iraqis apply for these Achieving Scholarships. We have a large number on offer. I think it's close to 30 this year.
Yeah, it was pretty big.
And the students that get these scholarships, they do fantastically well when they're in the UK, and then when they come back to Iraq, it's super impressive to see how well they do. So I again really encourage people listening to apply for that scheme.
Yeah, please do. As I said, applications are open until the 3rd of November. We're really encouraging people to go really wide in what they look at. So there's been a strong tendency for people to go for medicine or engineering, but please think wider. The private sector, think of business. You can go so wide on Chevening. There's so many courses that you can undertake at British universities. So please take that into consideration when you apply, and please do so by the 3rd of November.
By the way, if you're listening and you don't know how to apply, Tom, Hanar, and Ali joined us last week and told us all about it, so you can find it on babylonfm.net.
And more importantly, they gave us advice about how to stand out, and we had one of the winners of last year gave us some really good information. You can check out the interview until now by just going on our website, babylonfm.net.
Yes. So I think you said you've been here for a year now. How much longer are you planning to stay, or are you not planning to stay for any longer? How does that look for you
so my posting as ambassador is for 2 years.
Good.
I mean, the only tough thing about being ambassador to Baghdad is I can't bring my family with me. So my wife and my 3 sons are in the UK, as I mentioned, and obviously I miss them, but I get to go back every few weeks and see them. If the security situation in Baghdad were better, I'd stay for 4, 5, 6 years, because this is a great place to be a diplomat, great place to be an ambassador. But yeah, I'm here for a while yet, and I'll definitely be back in Bill many times.
Well, Mr. Ambassador, we continue to look forward for this bridge to be built between us and the UK. We've been trying here, even with Babylon, trying to make things happen in the UK. For example, we sponsored some fighters, right, Yusuf, where in the UK, where there's MMA and stuff like that, where we said, okay, hey, come on, we'll support you by just throwing our logo here and there, and then we'll broadcast the match from there, because he's originally from there. So shout outs to Schwan and his team there that are trying to make some kind of an MMA revolution from the UK to the Kurdistan region. So a lot of different things are happening. Hopefully when they come together, it will be one beautiful bridge.
Yeah, I mean, you've got like hundreds of thousands of Kurds in the UK, and there are really strong links between the KRI and the UK at the moment. I think we've got at least 2 Kurdish members of parliament in the UK. So there's definitely ambition among the Kurdish community in the UK to build and strengthen those links as well.
Thank you so much, Mr. Ambassador. Tom, it was a pleasure as always. Before we let you go, what's your opinion about our Halloween decorations? Is it spooky?
I think they're really good.
Yes!
I like the kind of ghosts hanging from the ceiling. Yeah. That's awesome.
Yeah. It goes with your desk as well.
Yeah,
I thought the desk was part of the Halloween decoration.
No, we didn't paint this.
You always have a bright orange pumpkin coloured desk the whole year round. But I think it looks amazing. It's really cool. It reminds me of New York. And you see, now you said that you grew up in the States. Now I get the Halloween thing.
Exactly.
It's very American. Very cool.
You guys don't celebrate it in the UK that much?
We do.
A bit.
A little bit.
A bit.
Not as big as America.
No, the Americans go crazy.
Yeah,
Halloween,
we're crazy about it. Yeah, we just like Halloween, spending money on holidays.
Going back to the topic of music before we let you go, what kind of music do you enjoy? What kind of genre are you more into?
And we have your song request, by the way. You're gonna have to explain this to us, but go ahead.
I like I like classical music because I was trained classically as a singer, but I also I like pop music like everyone else.
Noor, do you have that song ready?
Well, can you please first explain to us why does he have the same last name as you? Is this your grandfather? Who is Eddie Hickey? I'm sorry if
this is such a great question. So Eddie Hickey's my dad. Yeah.
Oh my God!
And my dad, when he was 18 years old, he was a pop singer and had a recording contract with Decca Records. And his claim to fame was that Decca Records they signed my dad in the same year that they turned down the Beatles.
Whoa!
Wow.
I think obviously it was the correct decision on their behalf, no. But it's nice to have it. But he's very old now, you know.
Well, shout outs to him. He has raised a wonderful son, and we're gonna play his song "Lady May."
Thank you so much.
Well, thank you. It's always a pleasure, Tom. We're gonna see you around again, okay? 'Cause you live around here, so
yeah, I'll definitely go back on.
maybe you can bring the cream of the crop when you guys have the winners of the Chevening, so we can get to meet them as well.
Definitely.
Before we ship into the UK. Gentlemen, thank you so much. It was a pleasure, and thank you for everything you do for our region and for the country. Thank you so much.
Thanks, guys. It's been really fun. Thanks a lot.
Green boy 17 when I'm